guys, it's Kales, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons as to why you should read The Leaving by Tara Altebrando. The Leaving by Tara Altebrando is a sci-fi novel about 6 kids who disappear the first day of kindergarten when they're 5 years old, and then all of a sudden, 11 years later, 5 of them show back up again with no memory of who they are, where they came from, and slowly but surely they start to remember. They need to figure out what happened to them, where they've been, why they know certain things like how to shoot and load a gun, or how to drive a car, but they don't know who and where they've been and who took them and where the missing boy is, because there were 6 of them that left and only 5 came back. I was thoroughly surprised by this book, and I feel like it needs to get more recognition on here than it's gotten. It came out in 2016, and I met Tara Altebrando, which was the whole reason I got the book, because while I wasn't that enthralled with the story, I was thrilled with her, and I thought she was a wonderful person, and now I'm really glad that I picked up this book, because I really liked it. Reason number 1, this is a great mystery. Holy crap, it kept me like on the edge of my seat the whole time, in the sense of I wanted to know what has happened to them, where have they gone, what is going on here, where is the missing boy. The whole time I was begging for answers, and she just like dripped them out to you slowly but surely, and I didn't predict what was happening. It was really hard. There were a lot of interesting theories, like you'll get to it. It's so fascinating, the different characters' perspectives in here and what they thought actually happened, and the characters themselves that went to the leaving and came back, and it's like, where did we go? And the different clues and the theories and the idea about memory. Oh, it was such a great mystery that just kind of kept me wanting more the whole time. It was very suspenseful. I read this in like 2 days, just saying. Reason number 2, there are great familial relationships in here. Don't get me wrong, there's a great load of romantic things in here too, but that was actually not one of the reasons I really enjoyed it. There were multiple love triangles, and I was like, I'm not having this. But what I loved the most was there's a great relationship between one of the characters from The Leaving, Scarlett, and her mother, and that whole relationship about what it means to be a good parent, your relationship when you're grown with your parents, and then there was also a great relationship between 2 brothers, one who was in The Leaving and the one that got left behind. Their relationship, especially their father, passes away very early on in the book, and not a spoiler, and how do they deal with that? How do they deal with being brothers again? How do they deal with how well one remembers the childhood that the one never had? It's just so interesting and dynamic, and I really enjoyed that part of it too. Yes, like I said, there are romantic relationships, but those weren't as interesting or as pertinent to me as the familiar relationships. Reason number 3 are the multiple points of view. It's told from 3 different POVs, one of which is Scarlett, who was one of the girls from The Leaving, Lucas, one of the boys from The Leaving, and Avery, who is the sister of the boy who never came back. And it is fascinating how these stories intertwine. I'll be honest, it is so interesting how Lucas and Scarlett are trying to remember their relationship with each other, and how Avery is trying to remember her relationships to the 2 of them. And there's like a point later on in the book and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, those 2 characters haven't been talking to each other, yet we've been with them this whole time through their journey, and it's a great interesting dynamic to this story. Multiple points of view I think is the best way of revealing information, and that she's able to weave it all together in the end. That made me so happy, and I really enjoyed that it wasn't just from one character's perspective. I think it would have made it a lot more boring. Reason number 4 is the unique message about childhood and memory, because obviously when these characters come into the story, they can't remember who they are. They slowly do remember who they are, and they have maps in their pockets leading to their houses from this playground that they're dropped off at, hence this beautiful, creepy, looming cover. It's very interesting, this idea of, does your childhood have anything to do with who you grew up to be? And how does memory play into that? What are false memories? And can you create memories from your childhood that are more important than they actually were? Or how does your brain remember real things from your childhood, and how do they make you the person that you are today? And I found that really interesting, especially coming from Avery's perspective, her having to live without her brother and having this hole in her life, but then also Scarlett and Lucas trying to fill in these holes and trying to figure out, well, who am I if I don't know who I was? Does it matter? Can I reinvent myself? Is that something I want to do? Can I just leave the past behind? Or does it matter, all these mysteries in my life, and is that going to affect how I think of myself? Like, what if they don't like the person that they were when they grew up, you know? And it's just very interesting. And this idea of trauma in childhood does taking away trauma affect kids? Which I think is such a fascinating conversation starter about censorship and, you know, children living in a bubble and whether or not growing up with tragedy makes you stronger or if it really is not worth it. I don't know. It's got a great underlying meaning throughout the whole thing about that. And it's a unique thing that I haven't seen in YA a lot, or ever. Reason number 5 is this book is fast-paced. Like I said before, I read it in 2 days. She just keeps the mysteries coming. Like, you get little hints of it, and it was like a TV show in my head. Because the whole time I was just like, oh my gosh, another cliffhanger. Oh my gosh, another cliffhanger. This would be such a great, like, little ending reveal at the end of an episode. Anyway, it was so good. I really enjoyed it. Yes, fast-paced, couldn't put it down once I like had a substantial amount of time to read it. Those are 5 reasons that you need to read The Leaving by Tara Altebrando. Awesome YA sci-fi mystery, and yeah, you should read it because it's good. Let me know what you think of The Leaving if you've read it or if now you plan to. That'd be awesome. Let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, guys, bye! I think it's raining. I should go check on that.